Well, hello everyone, this is Johnny Chazz on Casino Gambling, and today we're taking a look at the game of Baccarat, Casino Baccarat. Two things we're going to look at today, actually the basics of playing Baccarat, wagering on the player, the banker, or the tie. And then we're also going to go ahead and take a look at one of these side bets or bonus bets that's become very popular in recent years, especially in the last year or two here in Las Vegas, and titled the Dragon Bonus Bet, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that. So let's go ahead and dive into the game just for a moment. For those of you that are not familiar with the game of Baccarat, there really are just three types of bets: a wager on the player, a wager on the banker. That does not mean that you are betting with the casino, and the wager on the player does not mean that you are betting on yourself. They are two separate bets, and they are totally isolated from one another. And third is the tie wager that pays 9 for 1. Remember that 9 for 1 is the same as 8 to 1, but they advertise 9 for 1 to make it look larger for the payout. A $1 payout will pay you 8 plus your dollar back. So that 9 for 1 includes your dollar that you've wagered. So $1 turns into 9. You notice there's a trend. Most Baccarat tables will have the last few results that occurred, and you can see actually that the bank being on this side, the player being on this side. So the player actually, the colored numbers will show the winning side. So the bank has won 6-2, player won 2 in a row, bank, and then player in the last 5 hands, and you can see the last 10 hands. Oftentimes they'll show the last 20 results. All right, in Baccarat, basically, first we're going to go ahead and make a wager, and we'll go ahead and make first of all, a $10 wager on the player. Let's just make it 100. And notice this is in pounds, but that's okay, or euros, but that's okay. That's a wager for 100 units. The player wager is always an even money payout, so it pays 1 to 1 is the payout, 1 for 1, so 100 will win 100. There's no commission. So a wager on the player. The idea of Baccarat is obviously to get close to 9. There is no going over, and so let's go ahead and deal the cards here, and the cards will come out. And the player hand has a total of 8 and 5. Now notice that the total is 3. It will draw and now total 2. Now how did that happen? Well, keep in mind 8 and 5 totals 13. Think of this as like the game of blackjack. Plus 9 totals 22. Well, what we do is we take off the first digit. So 22, we would take off the first 2, only use the last digit. So this hand would total 2 for the player, and they only get 1 draw. Typically the player will draw on any hand totaling 5 or less. The bank went ahead and they started with an ace and a 10. The ace is worth 1. Any 10 or face card is worth 0. So that's 1. They drew and totaled 4. And you can see there it's a total of 14 in blackjack. Drop the first digit and you get 4. So in this hand, the banker wins 4 to 2, and there is no win for the player as the banker would win. Now any wager on the banker, same kind of idea, but this time remember that anytime you bet on the banker, there is a 5% commission. So $100 will win you 95, because the banker tends to win about 52% of the time, give or take. So we go ahead and look at the hand here, and the player totals a 9, and the bank has 9. Those are called naturals, okay? And so whenever you have 8 or 9, you automatically win as long as the other hand doesn't have a hand better than you or that ties you. So 8 or 9 will naturally win, but in this case, both the player and the banker total 9. 8 and an ace totals 9, as you see 8 plus 1. And so both hands natural, so the tie payout at 9 for 1, if somebody would have had a wager on that, 100 would have returned $900. And remember that your wager is returned. It's considered a push for banker and player bets if the hand results in a tie. Now, one other thing that we do want to talk about is what is actually titled the Dragon Bonus. And there it is, the Dragon Bonus. This is a special wager, and we want to take a look really at the payouts for the Dragon Bonus. The idea of the Dragon Bonus is a side wager that you will make on the table. It's not on this layout, but generally it's right on the side here, a little circle for player or banker. And you can put $5 out there, or whatever unit is required as the minimum. Here it's a €1 minimum, but there is no side wager on this layout. But in Nevada and other locales, you will have a Dragon Bonus here. And what that means is if you wager on the player on the Dragon Bonus, you are betting that the player will win by a certain spread or amount of points. So looking at a pay table here, if the player wins by 9 points, let's say 9 to 0, you win 30 times your wager. Okay, if it's an 8-point margin, 9 to 1 or 8 to 0, it's 10 times your wager. A win by 7 is 6 to 1. A win by 6 is 4 to 1. A 5-point spread is 2 to 1. Notice that the natural winner, if you have a natural 8 or 9, your hand, not only does your wager win, but you will also receive even money on your bonus dragon payout. And then natural ties, if you happen to tie, like we saw in the last hand, 9 to 9, you will not only get your original wager on the player or banker return, but your wager will also push on the dragon bonus. The idea, most people are looking for obviously the top 3 payouts here, and especially the 30 to 1, winning by a natural of 9 to 0 is the only way to get that. But if you have the right side, make sure that you have the right side. Remember, if it's 9 to 0 in favor of the player, if the player had 9 and the bank, let's say, had an 8 and a 2, it would be 9-0, and so a player wager on the dragon bonus would pay out, not a dragon bonus payout on the bank. And that would pay out at 30 to 1 or 150 for 5. Alright, this is the basics of Baccarat, Casino Baccarat, and of course the basics of the dragon bonus in the game of Baccarat. So something to kind of keep in mind the next time you sit down to a Baccarat table. And remember that there are 2 types of tables, and there is a mini Baccarat table and then a large Baccarat table, and 14 spots at the Baccarat table, although number 13 is missing. And then there's mini Baccarat, which is a smaller Baccarat table where the players are not allowed to touch the cards. Only the house touches the cards and spreads them out in mini Baccarat. You are allowed to touch the cards. Whoever has the largest wager typically will handle the cards in the game of Baccarat on a full table. So keep that in mind. So this is the game of Baccarat and highlighting the dragon bonus. Alright, this is Johnny Chazz on Casino Gambling, talking about Baccarat this week, and I wish you good luck, and we'll come back with another segment in just a couple of weeks. Have a great day.